Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining the webinar today. For those who missed the last webinar, the Revit Fundamentals Part 1, you'll be able to view it on our YouTube channel, Civil Survey Solutions, and you'll find it under Revit Webinars. In Revit Fundamentals Part 1, we created a Revit model of a granny flat using an architectural template, and we added walls, doors, windows, floor slab, roof, and components. Today, in Revit Fundamentals Part 2, we will continue using the Revit granny flat model from Part 1 and add a veranda, and then go and create some model views and use the visibility graphic tool to control what is displayed in each view. Next, we will be adding a model in place component for the kitchen bench, and we'll also look at creating a family for that kitchen bench, a family component, that is. I will then add slab edge beams, internal beams, and a step down to the floor slab. Next, I will create a site plan using the property line tool and add a topo surface to the site. Okay, so let's get going. Right, on the screen, we've got granny flat as it finished from last week. First thing I'm going to do is crop the views so that all these annotations outside the view aren't showing. So on the properties palette, I'll scroll down, show cropped region, and I'll drag the cropped region right in. Also have annotation crop. While I'm here, I might just drag section lines in. And you'll also be able to notice that this section line is broken between the building and this one's not. I'll change that now and select that section line, and you'll see this line in the middle that allows you to drag it out. I'll also go and turn off the crop region. Right, I'll go ahead and create, first of all, a veranda slab. Go to the architectural, select floor, go with the generic 100 mil. I'll select the straight drawing tool, snap to the endpoint there. This way, and I'll select the Pick Lines tool and select the external walls. Need to go in and trim all these lines that are overlapping. So I'll go to the Trim tool, select the two lines, and before I finish, I'll just tell it that it'll be, say, a 50 mil step down, and then select OK. You'll see in the 3D, the slab is in place, also on the floor plan. I'll now go and create a roof select the roof and want it up on the ceiling. Should be the top plate. Use the same basic roof that we had on the rest of the house. I'll go to Pick Lines tool, select where I want the veranda to be. Trim corner. As you can see, each of these lines have a slope attached to them. So I'll need to remove that slope side. Select those two and I'll change the slope in the properties palette and I'll make it 5 degrees. Select OK. The roof is now on there and you can see it in the 3D. Let's make that bigger for now and double click the mouse wheel and then scroll around. And if anything, I could probably drop that down a little bit so I can select that there now. And in the properties palette, I can drop the base, say 200 mil. While I'm here, I'll put on the fascia and gutter. So I can go to roof, select fascia. If I hold the mouse against one side of the roof and hover it over it and hold the tab key, it'll select the other one that's attached automatically. Now the fascia's on. And I'll do this. Go back to the gutter. And add the gutter in. It's just back down in size again. Next thing I need to do is add a column in. Structural column. There. The only one that's loaded into this template is a universal column, so I don't want to use that.
John?
Yes.
I noticed you went from architectural to structural there on the tabs. Is that the same column type, or is that just is that now a different column depending on what tab you're on?
It yeah, well, the structural ones will allow you to use it or get structural analysis and everything from it. Okay. I just usually use those ones.
Okay, cool. I just noticed that because there was one on the architectural tab, if there was other than the fact that it says it's architectural, if there's any actual usability difference between that one or that one there.
Yeah, well, if
I see. So it's the same thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I can go to there and
yep.
You can use the structural from the architectural tab as well.
I understand.
or the other one and make it a bit fancier or anything.
Cool.
But
awesome. Thanks, John.
That's okay. So what I needed to do was load one in, load a new column in. I'll just see where I am. I don't do that now. So I go to standards. I'll just go to a square hollow section and maybe just use 100 by 100. I'll just locate that roughly there now. Now, the easiest way, or one of the ways to align it into the corner there, if I want it, is use the align command. I was going to use a shortcut then with AL, but if I use it up here and go to the align command there, and I'll pick the edge of the slab. And if I pick the edge of the column, we'll drag it across slab. And what I'll do now is use the copy command and drag. Oh, hang on. I moved it. Just undo that. And I'll copy it. Got a copy it for me. Okay. Drag across. Again, I can align that in. And I'll copy it down this way. And what I'll do is to center those there, I'll use a dimension line. So I'll annotate and just go for a dimension. Go from the edge of the, whoops, we're picking all tile walls. So go faces and individual references. For the edge there, I'll go to the edge here and also the edge there. And after I've done that dimension, you'll see this equal. So if I just go equal there, it'll equal that column up into the center there. I can delete that there now and just say I don't want it. And I can do the same to the other side, the end, and go down to equal, and it'll move it into the center. Go up here. Notice that the columns are only represented by lines there at the moment. I need to just change my display to fine. Now they're all visible. The next thing I need to do is select columns, holding down the control key to get each one. And I'll put the base offset down to the slab of -50. And I'll take the top offset -200. That's everything there. So it's back down to the corner. But the next thing I'm going to do is go over to the project browser and right-click on ground floor, and I'm going to duplicate the view. That's just made another view of the ground floor. So what I'm going to do with this view is I'm going to make it into a slab plan. With the slab plan, I don't need all this information on there. So the best thing to do is to go to the visibility graphics, and I've got to, all right, visibility graphics. And what I'll do is I'll select all and turn them all off. Go to floors and turn the floor on. Also turn plumbing fixtures on. Put structural foundations. I might also turn our section lines off, and they'll be under the annotation category. Scroll down, I can turn off sections. Now we've just got the slab plan, plumbing, and if I add any structural foundations on there, they'll be on there. So that's what I'll be doing next. But before I'll do that, I'll go to the 3D views. I'll do the same there, and I'll duplicate 3D view, and I'll rename it to just the 3D slab. Just the 3D slab's going to be on there. So I'll go to visibility graphics and select all, turn them all off, floors, and turn the floors on, and I'll turn on structural foundations. So now we've just got a 3D view of our slab. Okay, so now I'll go back, and again, you can go to Architecture tab to do the edge beams, or you can go to the structure slab and there as well. Edge, so go to the slab edge. In this template, we've only got the one slab edge there. I can edit the type, and it will give me under the profiles, because the slab edge is made up of profiles from a profile family. It has a couple of extras in there. There's 3 different sizes, but we'll just go with the first one for now. Say OK. Now, if I pick up on there, I'll just zoom in on the edge and hold down the tab key, you'll notice that it's selected right around the whole slab. And if I, and I'll do that again. Pick it, and now we've got an edge beam right around the slab, and I'll just do the same thing with veranda slab. Hover over one edge, hit the tab key, and pick. Now you'll notice that there's 2 different colours there from between the slab and the edge beam. That's because there's 2 different materials being used there. So if I go into the edge beam, go to edit type, it'll tell me that the material being used is concrete. So I'll just copy that one at the moment and say OK. And if I go into the slab and edit type and edit the structure, at the moment there's no material there. So I'll just paste concrete into there, say OK, and you'll notice they're all the same material. I go back to the slab plan now. Change it to wireframe. Now got all the edge beams showing. The other thing which I want to show you is in the properties palette under discipline, it's being viewed as an architectural view at the moment. If I change that to structural, it'll sometimes it'll show a different view. It's wireframe, that's probably why. There. So if it's not wireframe, it's coming up the way you'd want to see it in a structural. We go to architectural, it's the same. Right, so the next thing I want to do is add some intermediate beams through here. And the best way to do that is with creating a family. So we're going to create a new family through the File menu and Family. And I'm going to scroll down to Metric Structural Stiffener Line Based. A new window opens up. First thing I want to do is I'm going to make a sweep. Sketch the path of the sweep. It's going to be a long line. Okay, the next thing I need to do is edit the profile. So this is the profile of the beam, internal beam that I want. It's telling me I need to go to a side view to sketch. I'll now sketch roughly the shape down. Oh, now add some dimensions. With that dimension there, that's going to be reference 0 level is the top of our floor level. And I want this to be directly underneath on the bottom of the slab. So, and I want to be able to change it as well. So what I'm going to do is add a parameter in. So I select the dimension and go up to the label tab here, and there's a little menu next to it to create a parameter. This I'm going to do, I'll make it an instance parameter. You know, this instance and type. The instance allows you to change each one separately. So if you want different heights throughout the building, you'll be able to do it instantly. If you had it on type, every one in the building would drop down by the same amount. So I'll just say instance for now, and I'll give it a name, and I'll just say depth below slab. Okay. I can test that here now by going up to the family types icon there, and you'll notice I've now got a parameter in the family types. And if I change that to 100, it's now changed the depth. Say okay, and I'll just do a few more dimensions around the building, around the beam. First one I'll do is I want those dimensions to be equal on each side, the center of the beam, the dimension of the beam itself. Select dimension and go up to the label, create another parameter. Change that to an instant, and I'll just say beam depth. Okay. Again, I can check that to see what happens. It's up there now, so I'll change that to 300. Apply. Now 300. Next one dimension I'll put in is the overall depth. Make another parameter. Beam depth. Did that wrong, didn't I? I'll just cancel over it. And I'll change that parameter. It should have been width. So I can go up here and go to edit it. Width. Instance. And depth. Next thing I want to do is put some angular dimensions in there to make sure they're 45 times. Add a parameter. For angle. The next one and go to the drop down for this one because it's already there. That'll be the same. And the last one I need to do is the chamfer width. Yeah. Create parameter. Check that everything works okay. So I'll change the beam depth to 600. That works. And I'll say the chamfer is 200. And that works. Okay. Okay. And then I can save that now if I want to, and so it can be used in any project in the future now. In this case, I'll just load it into the project that we're using. Go to the slab plan. Put it in. You'll notice that it's not displayed. That's because I have to do one more thing back in the family. Select it. And got to change the family category to structural foundations because the structural foundations are the ones that are being displayed in our slab plan view. In. All right, and go to slab plan.
So what's your process of trying to resolve stuff like this, John? What is it that you're sort of trying to do to get it?
Yeah,
to
just try. Well, it should be looking at. It should be a visual display.
Yeah.
And the visual, it really should be showing up when I put it into our drawing. Visual graphics should be showing up. Nothing being displayed there. It usually, I haven't had that problem before.
And it only happens in the live webcast, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because I know this. I know the beam's there, and you can see it there, and we can locate that into the slab. It'll be something silly that I've been doing.
But it's nothing to do with the visual, the height of that being
displayed. No, because it is. It is. That's what it is. Sorry, you're right. You're spot on. That's what it is. It's the reason why it's not is the view range. We didn't change the view range because it's below the slab. It's down below what our ground floor level is.
There we go. I
So
did
I
listen
should-
to last week's. You covered this very topic, so
I did.
I did take something away. Say last week, obviously a few weeks ago, but yes, that was one of the. Assuming
Yes.
this actually does work, so
It will. There it is.
oh, there we go.
Yep. So that's what it is. So now I can locate that where it's required. And move it into the center. Yeah. And the next thing I can do is go to the join command, save it down there. And if I select intermediate beam there or internal one and select the edge beam, can't be joined, probably because they're different materials. I hope I put them at the same height. Where are we? So go to there. Let's show another thing while we're up here. I can select that and little box on the right hand side here. If I pick on that, I can select structural material as a parameter, A and K, and load it into the project. Right, now I can select it. Go to edit type, and the material will be up there. I've already got concrete. And while we're on this here, you can see all the parameters that I put into the family are now available in the properties palette here. So I can change any one of those at any time too. So they're still not. Going to do is I'm just going to do a quick section through. Notice I haven't got section lines available to me. So annotation. Section. Everything should be, oh, it's connecting to the slab, of course. Just picking the wrong one. Anyway, it's good that we've got the section up here because you can see that our beam here, intermediate beam, is dropped down below the edge beams. There's two ways we can do that. I could go to the beam there now and change the depth, and I'll just make it 301 there, so it's just low. So I could do that, or just undo. The other thing I could do is change our edge beam. So if I go to that there now, type, it'll tell us the profile is a slab thickened edge beam. But to change that profile, the family, we need to go down into the browser to families. Go down. It's under edge. sorry, got to go to profiles. Profiles, edge beam. That's edge beam there. What we need to do is edit that profile. The first thing I'll do is I'll just save that as a new family for now, and I'll just let's create a line down to there. Delete that one. And load it into the project. So, Slab Plan 3D. Edit the type. Now I've got it thickened on the edge, and I can go to the section, and there's a section showing the slab. Okay, so I'll get out of that. The next thing I wanted to do is, while we're on sections and everything, was to go back to our 3D view and duplicate the view again, and I'll rename it to section 3D. Close this one down now. So there's our model. I'll scroll down in the project browser to extents, and you'll see section box here. Select, check that, and we've now got a box around the building. If I highlight that, drag these lines in, now get a section through the building. Change in any direction. Turn that section box off at any time. Just thought I'd show you that one. Now, the next thing we're going to do is go back down into the ground floor plan and put a bench in the kitchen. On part one, all we did was locate it just by a line through there. We're now going to use a model in place component to actually put a bench. Just put a simple one in this stage. Go to architecture, component, model in place, and casework. Okay, I'll give it a name, and I'll just say bench. Now, so a new window pops up on top of, you can still see what's underneath, but I'm going to create, go to the create tab, go to extrusion, First thing I need to do is I want it to start from the floor level, and I'll give it a height of 900 mil. We'll use the draw pick lines command and tool, and I'll pick where I want the bench to be. Now trim the lines and say OK and finish the model. We've now got a 3D model cupboard or bench top in there. So if I go to a 3D view, do a camera view quickly of that area, you'll see the bench up through there very easily. But probably the best way of doing it though, so I'll delete that there now and go back, and I'll create a family so that it can be used all the time. When you do a model in place, it can only be used in that project that you're using. It can't be transferred into other jobs. So go up to File, New Family. Going to choose a metric model line based. Similar to the screen that was up before, we're going to do the same things. We're going to do a sweep, sketch the path, OK. Then I'm going to edit the profile, and I'm going to select the left-hand side. Zoom in a bit. So I'll just use the straight draw command. We'll snap section there. I'll type in 900. I'll go across 600, 50, 20, 750, across 40. Shut off. Also, add some parameters while we're here. So I can say the width. Good. Go up to create a parameter, make it an instance. Width. Height. We could go around and add it to each of these, to the overhang, and you get the idea there now. So I'll just do a check just to make sure everything can be changed. So I'll say 650 wide. So that's changing. Make the height 950. Back. Okay. Okay. Load into the project. It's as easy as that. Go back to our 3D view. We've now got a bench in there, but with a little bit more detail to it. I could move that along there now, and add another mention, so a return. I'll put the return up to there. You can see that they're overlapping there now. I can use the join command to join the two of them together. Point. What's seeing there now is just the line that we had from the part one, which we don't need anymore.
John.
Okay. Yep.
So I've just noting that we're getting close to the hour mark. I just wondered what your thoughts were on the remaining sort of topics that you were looking to cover in this particular webinar.
Well, we might quickly do. We got 5 minutes or so, have we?
Yeah.
So I might just do a quick site plan then.
Perfect.
The case. So I'll go up to True North. Go to massing and site. And I'll go to property line. And I'll create by sketching. And I'll just quickly do a site. Anything. Say OK. And you would normally edit the table there to match it up with the surveyor's coordinates and distances and that. Don't have that here now, so I'll just say OK. So there's our property boundaries. If I want to, because we're facing north at the moment, it's up the page. I need to rotate the building. So, or if I do want to rotate the building and match it to, say, the side boundaries or the back ones or whatever, I can just put that there. I can go to manage, position, and rotate true north. I'll pick that intersection there. Oh, I missed it, but you get the idea. The building got rotated. I can now go there now. Now, if I go down to the ground floor, it's still located as Project North. If you look in the properties palette under graphics, it's Project North. Go back to the True North. Our orientation saying True North. So I'll close that down there. A few of these. Right, I'll just go to the site plan, which is Project North. And I'll quickly add in topo surface. See that I can place points through there. I'll add -300. I'll just quickly view there. 600 along the front. Plus 300 roughly around the back. Okay, so we've now got a site terrain on there. Site plan. I can add a building pad quickly on there, and I'll just make it minus 300, and I'll around the building. Trim those two. Quickly throw a building pad in there. Now, the next thing I'd need to do, if we've got time, is I would normally slope the existing terrain back into the bottom.
Yeah, go for it, John.
Slab.
Yeah, if it's not too much time, that'd be fantastic to see that. Yeah.
Oh, I can start it anyway. So
yeah, go for it. We can always kind of tie it into the next session.
Yep. So I'll go to the site plan, and I'll select that. Actually, before I do that, I might just annotate, show you another, and put some spot elevations on here. There, that's telling me what the actual to our terrain, edit the surface, place some points, and I'll actually place some points where these are. So I'll say 271 is there, 6 there, 2 is there. Oh. There. And now I'll add in our minus 300. That around the building. So, okay, quickly see what's happening. So I need to do a bit more tidy up, but you can see that it's now sloping in from where I put those previous points and down to our minus 3. So next I would add a bit of fill up to the back of the building there. Time I'll add that edit, and I'll just add in just a couple more through there. You can see that straight away that dropped it down. Okay.
Thanks, John.
How's
well,
that?
Look. No, that's great. I think it's fantastic to get to this particular stage in part 2. Obviously, do you have an idea as to sort of the next steps in part 3 before we advertise, as sort of at least even just a couple of topics that we'll be sort of looking at?
Well, the next topics that I'd be wanting to look at, I'd like to at least get this through to a stage of printing.
Yeah.
But what I was going to focus on after that would be creating multi-unit development using the same plan, but maybe 3 different granny flats, and then share the coordinates between Revit and Civil 3D, so you can see how everything matches up.
Fantastic, great stuff. Well, look, if that's just a little bit of a teaser for part 3, then that's excellent, John. Well, look, guys, we'll end it there. I don't think we've had any additional or any questions come in during that session. But if you do have anything you'd like to ask, then you can email us at web@civilsurveysolutions.com.au with any comments or questions or feedback you might have about the webinar. I'm just going to very quickly close off with the final slide. John, can you see my screen?
I can, yes.
Yeah, fantastic. So look, next week we'll be continuing into the July schedule, where we have a retaining walls webinar using civil site design presented by Terry Selton.
Oh, I was going to do that. I can continue on that and do it on Revit too.
No, there you go. Okay.
No, that's
We've
fine.
got a tiny gap, a small gap. We've got a recap webinar lined up, followed by a yes part 3.
Yep.
For Revit, and then will be an as yet to be named or themed Autodesk Civil 3D webinar.